We are going back to the thrift store to see what we can find to put in our craft room and save lots of money. Today's video is a combination of thrift store finds, cheaper products, saving money, and repurposing things that you might already have. I hope this inspires you to think outside the box as well as feel encouraged to purpose things that are more affordable. So we're going to head to the thrift store in just a second. But before I do, I want to tell you my husband was out on a thrift store trip and he saw this and he picked it up. He thought, hey, maybe she can use this. This is kind of cool. I had no idea what it was, but I challenged myself to think if I could use it. And I said, hey, what if I was to go to a craft fair of sorts and sell my cards? This would be perfect. So it was a really cute idea and I so appreciate him. I'm sure there's another purpose for this. So if you know, throw it in the comment section because I'm really curious. All right, let's take a trip to the thrift store. So as I'm looking around a lot of these objects here, I'm thinking, oh, this would be so cute to store paintbrushes. This one right here to store finished cards. It was big enough to actually put my cards in there, probably in the landscape size way. So just some cute storage items. I did see this suitcase, trunk type thing. I thought that was really cute. I really want to do something with those in my house. So eventually I will pick those up. Here we have this really neat wicker type of thing that I brought home with me. So let's see how I'm going to use it. So this right here looks like, I don't know, just some sort of maybe for your mail. Put letters in there. I'm not quite exactly sure, but I thought it was really cute. I think it was maybe $1.99. So I picked it up and I'm going to show you just a couple different storage options for it. So maybe you have a couple frequently used items that you want to just put off to the side of your desk and you can store them upright. And this does help so they're not laying on top of each other and you're having to move one to get the other. Another option is maybe you want to keep some of your most used already cut down cardstock right off to the side. So I chose to try that. But then ultimately what I'm going to use it for is I have a lot of products that I really want to use and I forget about because they're stuffed in a bin off to the side. So if I put them right in front of me and it doesn't take up a lot of space, I feel like that's going to help me use those a lot more. All right, let's move into my I regret not buying section because this is so cool. I was like, I think I know what this is. And I read every single morning and I drink coffee with my reading. And so I was like, yep, this is what it is. This wooden book holder for page rest. I left it there at the thrift store. Oh, I think I'm going to have to go back and see if it's still there. But obviously it was not $29. It was, I think, maybe $3 or $4, which I thought was such a good steal. But all right, we're moving on. Next up, I don't need this in my room, but wow, this is really great. Just like I showed you storing your tools vertically, it really is a space saver. This was $3.99. These run for way more than that. If you were to buy them brand new, you can maybe spray paint it. And this is what I'm talking about as far as storing them vertically. I have a bamboo holder that I use, but something like that from the thrift store would be such a great deal. So I want to encourage you to take a look at this section of your thrift store. I thought there were so many really great items here, really quality items that you can repurpose, not just for your craft room, but like this next one I'm going to show you I got for our entryway. I loved this candle holder. So it just needed a little bit of a cleaning, brought it down to the sink, washed it up, dried it, and I'm going to use it as its intended purpose, which is a candle holder. I just thought it was really pretty. I'm sort of upgrading our look downstairs, and I thought this fit nicely, and it gives this really cool shadow effect when the candle is lit. So I'm just going to plop an already candle in its glass already, and I'm going to place it downstairs. Look how fun that is. It flickers nicely. You get this nice little ambiance. And that was so inexpensive. And so it was really nice. It felt good. It felt good to kind of keep something out of the landfill and repurpose it in my own home. So there, my entryway is getting leveled up. All right, back at the thrift store, I saw if you need better lighting for your craft space, take a look at the lamp section. I thought there was a really cool LED one, and then just some ambiance lighting for your craft room as well. So I saw this P-Touch label maker for only $4.99, but warning, always check items that have batteries, because when I opened up the battery pack in the back, the batteries were spilled and leaked and it was really gross. So you just want to make sure that you're taking a look at that. Now, I have a challenge for all of you in the comment section. What could you possibly use this for? So it's supposed to hang on the wall. It doesn't have to, but I'm really curious if you have any ideas for this particular item. Maybe for a different kind of craft besides paper crafting. I don't know. Let me know what you think. You may have seen a recent video I did where I upgraded my Tim Holtz glass media mat and made it magnetic. So when you're out and about at your local thrift store, you can see if you can find a piece of metal that's already ready for you to put underneath that glass mat. This one right here, if I didn't find another purpose, this would have been great because it was a very strong piece of metal. I could have placed that right under my glass mat and likely it would have worked really well. So just be on the lookout for stuff like that. I loved this sign. I didn't get it, but I just like what it says. Read books and be kind. It's not hard. Just do those two things. Let's take a look at something that I did find for my space. So I thought this was a really cool wooden container, wooden box, storage, whatever. It was shaped a little odd, but I thought I can make this work. It actually was $3.99, not $5.99. There was 2 stickers on there and they charged me the lesser amount. So that was cool. Remember the tip about using heat to remove those stickers or anything that is going to leave you a little bit of gunk if you try to peel it off. I gave it a good clean and then I thought, what can I use for this? Now I like storage options where I can put something on top because this is very sturdy. It's all wooden. So I decided to put my die cutting machine on top. It gives me more room on my desk. It's easy to pull it down and put it back up. And because again, that container right there is nice and sturdy, I'm not worried about it holding it. I also have my plates right underneath my die cutting machine. And then inside I have some of my most used supplies tucked away. I like my stuff out of the way. I don't like a lot of mess on my desk. All right, we're going to transition out of the thrift store and into some money savings alternative supplies. Now, I have some bad news. I thought that these were going to be amazing. They turned out not to be, and I'm going to explain why. Now, I highly recommend blending brushes that are not craft branded because they are a lot more affordable, but this particular brand did not do well. I loved how they had the colors. Now we're missing the orange one. This is from an old set of a different brand. So this brand right here does not come with the orange. I could have overlooked that. However, when I got to testing them out, which if you don't know, I do test the products that I recommend because, and I can't promise that all quality is going to be the same, but if I know I'm getting poor quality, then I'm definitely not going to recommend them to you. I noticed immediately that the fibers were coming off. The little bristles were coming apart. And it wasn't just 1 or 2. At first I thought, well, maybe I need to kind of condition them first and get all the excess off. So you can see it right here. They're really excessive. And I tried that. And then I tried 3 different of the brushes and I was like, well, I don't think so. It's not going to work. I then opened up a new pack. I had bought a second pack to give away if they were going to be good. So I was like, well, maybe I just got a bad batch. And then I pulled out this first one and it was the same exact thing. The bristles were loose. They were coming apart. And when you are ink blending, that is the last thing you need. So although I do recommend this type of brush, I don't recommend this brand. So I'm going to put down in the link in the description box below the link to this set right here. Now, I did notice as I was feeling them, they were a lot more dense. So it's possible that that's why they held up. I've been using these for years. Highly recommend this particular brand. Hopefully their quality is still great. Now, the ones that I don't like were $17.99 for all of those. I think there was 8 to a pack. This right here is $17.99 for the smaller ones. A great deal because it's inexpensive and they're good quality. So you'll see those linked below. So now's about the time where I thank all of you for sharing so many of your great ideas with me, whether it be through YouTube comments or on the Facebook group. And so I want to highlight something that a crafty friend of ours named Daria shared with us. So right here, we have some wax sealers for ink blending tools. So what she and her husband did was all the extra handles she was getting with her wax seals, they used a dowel, some glue, and some Velcro and created blending tools from things that she already had on hand. I think that's brilliant. Judy and Norma both recommended I check out officesupply.com, where you can get lots of craft items, which I had no idea about. You can see all these different categories. So I clicked on, and of course I went over to the crafty area. So crafts, crafting, etc. I looked at craft basics, and then to my surprise, I saw my favorite snips, which are the 𝗥𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗗𝗜𝗡, a 4-pack for $10.15. I was like, oh, I don't need any more 𝗥𝗘𝗖𝗡𝗡𝗧. However, some of you might. And I thought that was so cool. So there's a lot of great deals on there. I was just kind of getting lost in the search. But they have some things that you might not be able to find anywhere else, but also some really good savings as well. So I would definitely check out officesupply.com. I have no affiliation. It's not sponsored by them, but thanks to Judy and Norma for sharing that tip as well. I also, while I was there, decided just to search glass mat and see what came up. And so you have a larger surface that's not magnetic, but now you know how to make it magnetic. And then there's a smaller magnetic surface. So if you're looking for that, check out the website. I thought that was really cool. Our next share comes from Jean, who showed us these glue pens. I was like, this is interesting. So I picked up a set for myself and I want to check them out. So you get, 6 pens and 6 refills. So that's great. They come with this little red cover on the front, and basically you just press down on them and the glue comes out. So if you are working with really fine tip things, fine letters or, sentiments, whatever, it's a really great tool. But I wanted to see how well the glue stuck. So I grabbed up this really thin bow to test it out. And yes, it was very, very simple. You're just like drawing with a pen. So that was really cool. Now I tried to put a larger image here over where I wrote hello on there, but did not stick well. So I was like, well, maybe it just needs more glue. And so really the end result for me is this pen is fantastic for sentiments and for small, thin images, but you're going to want to cover your glue a lot more. So you can use that glue, but just put more of it on, because I only made one little line. But you can see the bow is not budging off of that paper. So very cool find. Thanks, Jean. Here is a repurpose idea. So I had bought this Sizzix tool a long time ago, and I've shared this in some of my videos. I use it as my splat box. It's huge, and I can fit so many projects in there at one time. And so I have the cooling rack in there. That's from Tiffany Solario's idea. And then my lid just kind of props up so I can spray and it won't get like back spray. And I just then, when I'm finished, fold it down and put it away. So I am a huge fan of that. I get to repurpose it and don't have to throw it away. All right, let's go and grab some things from the Dollar Tree here. I wanted to try out these brushes that are in the craft section, as well as one in the, I guess, home DIY section. So a paintbrush. Okay. And then I wanted to compare it against the Distress. Now I love these Distress brushes. And so I just wanted to see if there was maybe a cheaper alternative. I'm using gouache right now to test out what I want to do here. I spritz my cardstock. Again, I'm just kind of running through really quickly to see if they do the same thing. All 3 worked really, really well. If I had to choose an alternative product, I would go with the Craft Focused brush from Dollar Tree versus the paintbrush. It was flat across the top versus the angled brush. Again, I'm splitting hairs though, because they both worked. So if that's all they had and you wanted to pick up a paintbrush to have some fun with, then you're not going to lose. I'm just going in here and now I'm just having fun. So now I'm just playing and crafting. But I wanted to show you, I went and washed them and they all cleaned up really, really nicely from using that. So they didn't stain. Not that staining matters, but I just wanted to share that extra bit of information. At the Dollar Tree, they also have the smaller version in the craft ones. Well, some Dollar Trees, I don't know every Dollar Tree, but I found the smaller version. And then my husband picked this up from a local thrift store for 99 cents. And I thought, ooh, I can't wait to try these. I didn't try them on camera, but again, look around your thrift stores because this was probably hiding under a bunch of stuff. Speaking of, I've seen wine racks at the thrift store quite a bit. And I would recommend picking one up if it fits your decor, if it's inexpensive enough, because you can use them for rolls of things. So this is an old piece of footage here, how I used to store my vinyl, my contact paper, all of that extra wallpaper, things like that. And it was a really great storage item. They just all kind of fit in there really nicely. Well, that'll do it for this journey of money savings and repurposing our items to fit into our craft space. I hope this was helpful, and I hope it really does encourage you to either repurpose what you have or just to not spend a whole lot of money on things, because you don't have to, and you definitely don't have to spend a lot of money to be creative. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here are some more videos like this up on the screen if you want to check those out. Otherwise, I'll see you in the comments down below or in the next video. Bye-bye.